and the key phrases from the daily news analysis. So the emphasis on the keywords and the key phrases, by that we can identify the factual, analytical, and also the conceptual questions. So by this you will have an edge over others in regards to the prelims examination point of view. So definitely in regards to the prelims you will have a very good understanding about the factual, analytical, conceptual questions which have been asked by the UPSC, and in regards to mains examinations definitely it will be useful for you because I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing. So definitely answer writing is the main in regards to the mains examination, that you would how you would score higher marks in the mains examination. So definitely or certainly you would score higher marks when your answers are precise and concise to what is being demanded by the UPSC in the mains examinations, and by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your mains examination, your answers will certainly be precise and concise, and you will have an edge over others in regards to having or scoring higher marks in the mains examination. So the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis and my session will definitely help you to clear prelims and mains examination both for 2020 as well as 2021. And this session is in regards to the daily news analysis, that is in regards to the 31st, today's 31st August 2020. So here I would reiterate once again my tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will definitely put you in comfortable position in prelims and mains examination, and not only in prelims and mains examination but also in the interview, that is in regards to the personality test, because we will go ahead with emphasizing on the analysis by reiterating the keywords and the key phrases that will help you not only in prelims and mains but also in the interview. And before I get into the topic, I would say a very good morning to all who are in the live and also in the live chat. So good morning to all, and good morning to Ram Kumar, good morning to Praveen, good morning to Rahul and Nandita. So a warm welcome to you all to AKS IAS Academy Daily News channel. And then do not forget to subscribe the AKS IAS English channel, because as I said we will gradually shift from this channel to the English channel. So do consider it. And Azmat Khan has also joined. Very good morning and warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thumala. And the quote of the day is, if you stay positive in a negative situation, you will win, or you will win, or you are a winner. So there are two here. One is positive, one is negative. And the ultimate is winning, that is success. So what is important is that you need to be positive. You need to be positive even during the negative situation. Be positive even during the negative situation, so that the net result would be you would win. You would definitely accept or experience success, or you will reach your goal what you have in your mind. So do keep in mind that you should always stay positive. Always stay positive even in a negative situation. Thereby the end result will be success. So it's not, do not think that it's not easy. It is easy. Trying to keep your mindset to be positive. Positive attitude should always be surrounding you, so that your mindset is also positive, so that even in a negative situation you are always thinking positive, and definitely you will attain success. And before I get into the daily news analysis, Shobha has joined, Venkat Reddy has joined. A warm welcome to both of you to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala. And now we'll get into the topic, that is the Daily News Analysis. And the first news item is that India can become a global toy hub. So what is it? Keyword here is that we will focus is global toy hub. Global toy hub. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India can become India can become the global toy hub. So he is saying to whom that India can become a global toy hub? He is referring to, or he is asking the startups. He is asking the startups and the entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs, however you pronounce entrepreneurs. So he is asking, or he has called upon the startups and the entrepreneurs that you need to get into the mode of, or you need to make sure that you are all, these both are focusing on the be vocal for local. So the main important gesture by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the startups and the entrepreneurs of India is that be vocal about local, or be vocal for local. So that is very, very important. Why is saying so? Because he wants the startups and the entrepreneurs to develop computer games. So he wanted the startups and the entrepreneurs to be vocal for local and to develop the computer games. Please do understand here. So his focus is, or is urging the startups and the entrepreneurs to be vocal for local and develop computer games which are in and based on India. So he wanted developing of computer games based in India. So this is what? Being vocal about local. So this is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. And this is saying that he has recently, he has cited this. He has asked the entrepreneurs and the startups, citing that recently conducted, there was a challenge. That challenge is App Innovation Challenge by the government. So this is very important for a prelims point of view. So the government has come up with a challenge. What is the challenge which the government has come up recently? So it has come up with App Innovation Challenge by the government. So based on the App Innovation Challenge, it is asking the startups and the entrepreneurs, is urging them to be vocal for local and then develop the computer games based on India. And these computer games should have, he says that the country India has many ideas and many concepts, and India has lot of history. So based on India's, or else startups, young India's ideas, concepts and history, so we have to develop the computer games. So thereby he is saying that India can be a global toy hub. And he has also mentioned it very clear that the global toy market is a very big market. But India's share in the global market is just 7 lakh crore rupees. Please do understand, this is very important. So he is stressing that there is lot of scope for the global toy market, especially to the startups and to the entrepreneurs. And wherein India's share is just 7 lakh crore global in the global toy market, which is minuscule. That is very small, very minute. It is minute. That is what he says. So be vocal for local. The main intention here, the Modi's stress or urge on the startups and entrepreneurs is to be vocal for local. That is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. That is, he is also referred to the App Innovation Challenge, wherein the government has come up and is asking the startups and the entrepreneurs to look into that. India has many ideas, concepts and focus on our history, which is a very rich one, and then develop the computer games based on India. This is what it is. And it says team up for toys. This is very important. Team up for toys. So Global Toy Hub, and then Team Up for Toys, and then App Innovation Challenge, Be Vocal for Local, or Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. These are the keywords where you need to focus for the prelims point of view, and you need to make it very clear at which scenarios or which instances our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or else Finance Minister, or else Defense Minister, or External Affairs Minister, wherever they are making a statement, or else the foreign secretaries are mentioning about the be vocal about local, or Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. Those news you have to keep it in mind, and you need to focus that. And Chaitanya has joined, D. Suvarna, Harika Yadav, Madhu, good job, Srikant Balu, Prithviraj. All of you, a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thumala. And he is talking about the young talent. So look at it, he is focusing, or he is urging the young talent, that is the startups and the entrepreneurs. Startups and the entrepreneurs. Why? Because as we discussed, that he wanted the young talent to make games, that is computer games, in India. So he is saying that let us use our ideas, our thoughts, our concepts, our rich history, heritage and culture to prepare or to make computer games in India, which would be based. So computer games in India, computer games based on India. Based on India. These keywords please do understand. So it is in India, based on India. So he says, let's start the game. Let's start the game. So here the intention of let's start the game is for what? Be vocal about local. Be vocal about local. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. And apart from this, or on the sidelines of this, Mr. Modi has praised the farmers. So we are focusing on the young talent, what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stated, and also, okay, Sai Kumar Gaud and then Sri BK have also joined, Shivamurthy have also joined. A warm welcome to you. And Sai Kumar says that computer gaming, yes, it is a computer gaming, that too in India, based on India, because we have a lot of ideas, concepts and history, culture. He is focusing on that also. So look at here, it is you have the computer gaming, but he is linking this with the history of India. He is saying let's focus even on the history of India. So he has spoken in regards to the young talent, and also he has praised the farmers. Why he has praised the farmers? Because this, during the COVID-19 pandemic situation also, farmers have proved the mettle. That means they have proved that they can live on the agriculture and allied sectors, not just depending on the urban cities, and he has focused on the farmers in regards to the Kharif season, Kharif crops, because the way they have sown the seeds, even during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, he says that sowing of the seeds have increased to 7% compared to last year, entire sowing of seeds. Again, this entire sowing of seeds which has increased by 7%, we will segregate it. So the paddy is increased by 10% sowing of seeds, please do understand. And then the pulses have been increased to 5%, and then oil seeds have been increased by the farmers 13%, and cotton sowing of the seeds have been increased to 3%. So overall, in regards to the Kharif crop, now the sowing of seeds have increased to 7%. And again segregating it, paddy 10%, pulses 5%, oil seeds 3%, and cotton, oil seeds 13%, cotton 3%. Why I am saying this is because farmers, agriculture sector is very, very important, because look at it, As I said couple of days back, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focusing on the doubling of farmers' income by 2022. So definitely, each and every moment there is mention by the Prime Minister of India or the Finance Minister in regards to the agriculture sector and allied sectors. So your focus for prelims and also for the mains point of view, you need to focus this. Fine. So not only in regards to the young talents and also in regards to the farmers. So he has focused or he has urged the young talents in regards to the computer gaming, and he has praised the farmers in regards to their mettle. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, they have also focused on sowing of seeds, which has increased 7% compared to last year. And he has also appreciated the teachers even before the Teachers Day. So I hope you all know when the Teachers Day is. So he has appreciated the role of teachers. He has appreciated the role of teachers in regards to imparting education. Imparting in the sense teaching, imparting education through technology and innovation. Through technology and innovation, which the teachers across India are not well versed, but within a short period of time, the teachers have imparted education by using technology and innovation to teach the students about local events. That means he has praised the teachers in imparting, and not only that, he wanted teachers to impart or to teach the students in regards to the local events. So he is emphasizing or is urging the teachers to teach the students about the local events and about the heroes. Which heroes? Heroes of freedom struggle during the India's independence, who are unsung heroes. That means who have been forgotten. So the heroes who have been, or the freedom struggle, who have struggled for freedom during the independence, India's independence, but who have not been, recognized. So the teachers should make sure that they teach the students about the local events and then about the heroes of the freedom struggle. Because why this? The question. Because 75 years of independence India would attain next year, that is 2022, not another 2 years from now. So another 2 years from now, India will be 75 years post independence, 1947. So what is important is he has focused on the young talents, he has praised the farmers, he has appreciated the teachers. These are the three keywords which you need to focus for prelims as well as mains point of view. Sripiki Gopi Nayak has joined. A warm welcome to you, Gopi Nayak, to AKSIS Academy, Daily News Analysis. And there is another news which talks about 19 lakh NRC excluded stuck in limbo. Limbo means that they are not aware of what will happen to the future. So what is the keyword here? It is National Register of Citizen. So this is a keyword, NRC. So why it is in news? Why is it in news? It is in news because it is 1 year anniversary. It is first anniversary of the NRC which has been taken up in Assam last year, and we have seen because of the NRC which has been taken up in Assam. This is important. Which state? In Assam. And when they have conducted the National Register of Citizens, there were around 19 lakh citizens or Assamese who were excluded or who were not having proper documents to prove that they were citizens of Assam. Please do understand. There were around 19 lakh, that is 19,000 19,06,657 people were excluded from the citizens list of Assam because they could not prove any authorized document that they are the citizens of Assam or indigenous people, or they have got into Assam after March 1970s. So that is the point wherein last year the NRC has published that 19 lakh citizens or 19 lakh people are not part of the citizen of Assam, and due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation and the floods. So why it is in news? Because even after 1 year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation and because of the continuous floods, these are the reasons, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation and because of the continuous floods, especially in Assam. So there is a delay in issuing the rejection slip. So once this 19 lakh people are not part of the citizens of Assam, they would be issued. So NRC will issue what? Will issue a slip, that is a receipt, which it says that you are not a citizen or you are excluded from the citizen of Assam because you haven't shown any document to prove yourself as a citizen of Assam. And the Assam and this central government, that is the government of India, has come up with the procedure, that is standard operating procedures. So what does this standard operating procedure says? What does the standard operating procedure says? That it says that the one who are unable to prove that they are citizens of Assam or they do not have any kind of document to show or to prove that they are citizens of Assam, there is a standard operating procedure by the center which says that the one, this 19 lakh people who could not prove their citizenship as Assam, they still have 120 days. Please do understand this logic. They still have 120 days from the date of receiving the rejection slip. So definitely there would be a rejection slip which will be issued. So before that you have 120 days, and this entire 19 lakh people, they can approach the Foreigners Tribunal. For what? For judging their citizenship status. So now what is important here is NRC is the one which is the keyword, and Foreigners Tribunal. Please do understand. These are the keywords which you need to focus while you are reading this. National Register Citizen, NRC, and the other one is the rejection slip. Rejection slips. So you have the Foreigners Tribunal, which you can go there. I mean, these 19 lakh people last year who have been excluded, they can go approach the tribunal. Please do understand. They can approach the tribunal as per the standard operating procedures laid down by the center. They can approach the Foreigners Tribunal, and there they can prove that they have the citizenship status. I think you are getting the point. IS, okay, IS, I do not know your name, but a warm welcome to you, IS, to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan. And he says, sir, Saturday, Sunday paper analysis, is it there? So you have it, Saturdays you have it, IS, you have it in the YouTube channel, AKS IAS Academy YouTube channel, you have it. Sunday, I do not take the class. And Madhu, it says, in what way people there acquire citizenship? Yes, you have a list of documents. You have a list of documents wherein you can prove that you are part of it. It could be like your ration card, or in regards to any kind of you have the receipt by the any authoritative agency which says that you are part of the Assam, that is Assam citizens, or you have the electoral card, voting card, ration card, or any government issued authority or slip. You can prove that. But in spite of that also, in spite of this also, there were many who have been excluded, and part of them are 19 lakh. Yes, by registering. Yes. And the government has, in regards to, I was talking about the foreigners tribunal. So definitely the government has said that the 19 lakh people who could not, through the NRC, who could not prove their identity as citizens of Assam, they can approach the foreigners tribunal, and the government has appointed the part of the foreigners tribunal. You have 221 members. This is very important for prelims point of view. So the foreigners tribunal, which was appointed in August 2019, and which you have a 1 year time. So the term is 1 year term, and it is unlikely to be extended. But you have how many members? 221 members, and these 221 members are, you have the, they are judges. I mean the status of judges. I will tell you who are there, who are the part of the foreigners tribunals also I will tell. And what is the other point is, according to the Rule 8 of Citizenship Rules 2003. So what is here important is Rule 8 of the Citizenship Rules 2003. Please do understand this keyword for prelims, and while you are writing about Citizenship Act or NRC for mains also, this is very important. And as per the Rule 8 of the Citizenship Rules 2003, anybody whose name is not included in the NRC, they will not be treated as a foreigner. They will not be, please do understand, not be treated. Why they will not be treated? Because they have the privilege, that is the standard operating procedures by the government of India. It says that it gives 120 days time for each and every individual who could not prove their that they are the citizens of Assam, they can approach the foreigner tribunals. That is why they are not, as per the Rule 8, they have the provision to approach the foreigners tribunal. That is why the 2003 citizenship rule of that Rule 8 very clearly says that whose name is not included in the NRC, they are not treated as foreigners, but they have the chance that they can approach the foreigner tribunals to prove that they are the citizens or they have the citizenship status of Assam. And they also have the right to appeal. This is very important. Right to appeal. These are all conceptual understanding about NRC. So they have the right to appeal, and the state government has categorically stated that any needy person will be given legal aid. But still, this NRC case in regards to is still pending in the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court has to come up with the verdict or the judgment in regards to the NRC of 19 lakh people. And this is additional information which I am giving it to you, which is not part of the newspaper. Additional information that is in regards to the foreigners tribunal. Why I am saying is because there is a mention in the news saying that can approach the foreigners tribunal. So you never know, the UPSC might focus on this keyword, and there could be a question in the prelims saying that which among the following is incorrect statement in regards to the foreigners tribunal. So based on that, I have taken for your benefit the keyword additional information about foreigners tribunal. Okay, before that Madhu has said how can it differ from Citizenship Amendment Act, as the people who are not having citizenship, they could come under illegal migrants. Yes, absolutely right. They could be illegal migrants. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. They could be illegal migrants from where? Illegal migrants from Bangladesh. Illegal migrants from where? From Bangladesh, or it could be Myanmar, or it could be from Pakistan, who could get into Nepal and then be part of it. So illegal migrants. So you have the, here if I get into the depth of it, you have the Assam Accord, which it would be almost like a, what do you say, mains explanation. You have Assam Accord. Fine. So Assamese, wherein they were feeling that they are becoming minority because of the illegal migrants. Assamese felt that they are becoming minorities because of the illegal migrants, and the Assam All India Assam Students Union, All India Assam Student Unions have raised the revolutions, or they have come up with the rebel and revolution in Assam that the illegal migrants will not be considered, and then they are revolted, and then there was an Assam Accord during the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. So it is a depth of it, but in regards to the newspaper, I am focusing this. So you have the illegal migrants, you have a, I mean, I will explain in regards to that. You have a very big one. So as per that, illegal migrants later on, when they could be proved, or else their offsprings who could get the citizenship, and the deadline is March 24th, 1971. That is what I am coming to that. Illegal migrants, they will be considered if it is before March 24th, 1971. I think now you will understand it, Madhu and everyone. When you look at this Foreigners Tribunal, you will understand. So Foreigners Tribunal has been, it was issued in the year 1964 by the central government under what? Under Section 3 of Foreigners Act 1946. Please do understand, 64-46. So the Foreigners Tribunal order was issued in the year 1964 under the Section 3 of the Foreigners Act 1946, and there were major amendments done to the Foreigners Tribunal Order 1964 in 2013. So there were major amendments done to the Foreigners Tribunal Order 1964 in 2013. And the last time when the amendment were done to the Foreigners Tribunal Order 1964 was in 2019. That is when NRC was supposed to take place, or immediately. And to appeal before the Foreigners Tribunal, that means the individual or the individual who wants to prove that he or she is a citizen of Assam can approach the Foreigners Tribunal, who must have some document. Madhu, I think you will get it. Predating March 24th, 1971. So what is the deadline here? The deadline is March 24th, 1971. If any individual is having any kind of document by the government of Assam or India that they are the citizen of Assam, then they have the right to be called as the citizen of Assam, or else they are illegal migrant. Madhu, I think you got it. So this is the cutoff date. And here is March 24th, 1971. And the member of the Foreigners Tribunal is a retired judge. Or a bureaucrat or an advocate. And when we're talking about advocate, he should have 7 years of practice experience. 7 years of practice. As an advocate, he can be the member of Foreign Tribunals Order, or Foreigners Tribunal, not order, Foreigners Tribunal. So he can be a retired judge or a bureaucrat or an advocate, but having 7 years of practice experience. So this is about foreigners tribunals. So this could be like in the prelims it could be asking that which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the foreigners tribunals order 1964. So this could be the question for the prelims point of view. So focus this in regards to the prelims as well as mains, in regards to illegal migrants, foreigners tribunals, NRC, and then in regards to the foreigners tribunals order 1964. Please do focus this foreigners tribunals order 1964, and then section 3 of the foreigners act 1946, and the rule 8 of the citizenship rules 2003, and the total members of the foreigners tribunals are 221 members. And the other news is in regards to the premature retirement, not a penalty. So the keyword here, what we will focus in this news item is premature retirement. And also we will focus on Department of Personnel and Training. Premature retirement and Department of Personnel Training. So why it is in news? Because it is in news because the Department of Personnel and Training has issued a notification. So what is that in the notification? We will look at what is in the notification. So the notification is in regards to review, consolidate and reiteration. And this reviewing, consolidation, reiteration of what? Of guidelines. So the Department of Personnel and Training has come up with the guidelines. And these guidelines are in regards to what? Are in regards to the premature retirement. Please do understand. So the Department of Personnel and Training has come up with a guidelines, and they have come up with the guidelines, and that guidelines are to review, consolidate and reiterate what? Premature retirement of government servants. This is very important. Premature retirement of government servants. The Department of Personnel and Training has come up with the guidelines in regards to the reviewing, consolidating and reiteration of the premature retirement of government servants, and it very clearly clarifies that in regards to the premature retirement of government service, it is different from what? It is different from compulsory retirement. So the keywords, please do understand here: premature retirement of government servants or compulsory retirement. So the two keywords here is, we have looked at premature retirement and the other one is compulsory retirement. This is very, very important for prelims point of view and also mains point of view in regards to the government servants retirement. So you have two keywords, that is compulsory retirement and premature retirement, and the department concerned is Department of Personnel Training, and it has issued a notification in regards to the in regards to the guidelines which are in regards to the premature retirement of government servants. And it says that this premature retirement of government servants is not a penalty. That means it is not a kind of penalty being issued onto the or in regards to the premature retirement of government servants. So again, in regards to focusing on this compulsory retirement or premature retirement based on the Department of Personnel and Training, we will also focus that the objective. So we will what the Department of Personnel and Training is talking about is the objectives of the fundamental rule of 561 of 1. And so this is in regards to the fundamental rule of 561 of 1 and fundamental rule 48 of CCS. What is CCS? Central Civil Services Pension Rules of 1972. So what you need to focus here is the fundamental rules and the rule 48 of the Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1972. Central Civil Service Pension Rules 1972. So what does the Department of Personnel and Training is talking about? That these two are to strengthen. Please do understand. To strengthen what? To strengthen the administrative machinery. Why to strengthen the administrative machinery? Because by strengthening the administrative machinery, by giving the guidelines in regards to premature retirement of government servants, it brings forth the developing responsible and efficient administration. Please look at the keywords which the Department of Personnel and Training is using. This is very important keywords. It will strengthen the administrative machinery. This is one of the keywords. By what? By developing responsible and efficient administration at all levels, and to achieve, and why, how this in regards to the responsible and efficient administration, they wanted to make it at all levels to achieve what? Efficiency, economy and speed in regards to what? Disposal, that is the administration, disposal of government functions, that is administration. So here the focus is, please to understand, the focus is in regards to the objective of the fundamental rules and the Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1971. They wanted to make sure that these rules are for what? Because there could be a question directly on the rules itself based on the premature retirement of government services. There could be a question in regards to the fundamental rules and the Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1971. They are for what? They are to strengthen the administrative machinery and to develop responsible and efficient administration at all levels. For what? To achieve efficiency, economy and speed of the disposal of the government of function. And because of this efficiency, economy and speed, the government has come up with the guidelines in regards to the premature retirement of government servants. And this talks about the one who has completed 30 years. 30 years. There would be the one who have completed that 30 years qualifying services will officially be made as a premature retirement and entitled to pension. So they will be considered premature retirement, but they will be entitled about pensions. Okay, Raghuram has joined. Warm welcome to you, Raghuram. And Gopinath says, so also central government employees. It is central government employees. I will tell you, I will focus that also. And definitely this is for Group A and Group B services. So this rule will apply. I think Gopinath, now your doubt will be clear. This rule will apply on officials who are in Group A and Group B service, who have entered the government office before attaining 35 years. So for Group A and Group B who have attained before attaining 35, before attaining 35 years, and who have attained 50 years. Suppose the employee is completed or entered into the government service before attaining the age of 35 years, before the age of 35 years. That means he has joined before the age of 35 years, or he has attained in the service, he has attained 50 years. Please do understand. He has joined the service before the age of 35 years, or in the service only he has attained 50 years. Or else he should have 55 years of total achieved. attain the age for Group A and Group B services. And in regards to the Group C services, please do understand this could be part of the prelims question. And the authority can retire a government servant in the Group C post who is not governed by any pension rules. Please do understand. Here the authority can retire only to the one who is not governed by any pension rules. But if he is governed by pension rules in the Group C, no, they do not have. The government do not have the authority. But the authority of the government does imply only when the official or the servant, government servant, wherein he is not governed by any pension rules and who have completed 30 years. Who have completed 30 years. And they will be given a 3 months notice with a pay of 3 months. So a notice of 3 months and a pay of 3 months would be given. And definitely you have a register, that is enter all the details, register of all the one who have attained 50 to 55 years and completed 30 years of service in the office. So it is a very well, why I am saying all this is because you all would be bureaucrats. You could be placed in Group A, Group B or Group C services, and why I am focusing is because we have discussed about the objectives of the fundamental rule and the rule 48 of CCS. What is this? Central Civil Services. Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1972. So there could be a possibility, and Department of Personnel and Training focuses on the UPSC. That is why I am focusing on this. Probably this could be a probable question in the prelims. Department of Personnel and Training, which is very, attuned to UPSC, and then the rule 48 of CCA, that is Central Civil Service Pension Rules 1972 when we are talking. So we are also focusing that this rule will apply only to Group A and Group B services who are having or who have entitled for the pension rules, and for Group C who are not entitled for the pension rules. It is not applicable, and there is a register for this, and the register will scrutinize every quarter. So the register will have all the details about the officer, and it will be scrutinized by a senior officer in the ministry, that is department or cadre. That is which ministry we are talking about? Department of Personnel and Training. And here you have a secretary. Please do understand this. These are all very, very important, you as a civil servant aspirant. And the secretary is concerned of the cadre controlling authority. So you have a secretary who is concerned about the cadre controlling authority. Why? Because there is a register, and this will be scrutinized, and it will be scrutinized by the secretary, which is concerned of the cadre. Which cadre? That is the officer, cadre controlling authority, and that will, and CCA will constitute, and it will constitute a review committee. The cadre controlling authority will constitute a review committee, or you have the representation committee, review committee or representation committee, and this representation committee consists of secretary level officials who are nominated by cabinet secretary, and you have the additional secretary or joint secretary in the cabinet secretary, and you have one member. So what is who constitutes the representation committee or the review committee in regards to the cadre controlling authority? It is the secretary level official who is nominated by the cabinet secretary, and you have the additional secretary or joint secretary in the cabinet secretariat, and one member by the CCA. So they are the part of the representation committee, which is again part of the cadre controlling authority, and you have a secretary in there, and this secretary will definitely scrutinize the register of the cadre or the officials. So this is very important. and this review committee or the representation committee or review committee will go ahead with giving recommendation, and these recommendations are for what? It is regarding in regards to looking at the issues of integrity, ineffectiveness, and the fitness or competence to continue in the post. So when a government servant is integrity is not or doubtful, his integrity is doubtful, or there is ineffectiveness in his working style and is incompetent and is not fit, so he will not be allowed to continue in the post. Thereby the premature retirement of government service guidelines have been given. I think now you have understood it. The review committee gives in regards to the recommendations about the issues of integrity, whether there is a doubt in regards to the integrity of the government servant or ineffectiveness or the effectiveness of the government servant or the competence and the fitness of the government servants. Then the review committee will again pass or forward to the cadre controlling authority, the secretary, and then you have it in the register. The register is being again looked at by the senior officer in the ministry, that is the Department of Personnel and Training, and thereby again the guidelines which are being issued by the Department of Personnel and Training in regards to the premature retirement of government service will take place. And this is all not a penalty. That is what it says. It is not a penalty, but it is in regards to your doubtful of integrity, your integrity when it is doubted, when you are ineffective in proving your job, when you are unfit, when your competence is not high or required as per the what is required by the government, so then you do not continue in the post. So this is all what is very, very important for the better conceptual understanding. You have many keywords here. Please do understand: review committee and the recommendation it is being given, and the representation committee and the cadre controlling authority, and then you have a register here, and then in regards to the appropriate authority we did discuss about, and here Department of Personnel and Training, and then compulsory retirement one or premature retirement, and it is not a penalty, and the objectives of fundamental rule and the rule 48 of Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1972. So these are all very, very important in regards to the prelims point of view. And we'll get into the other news which talks about a panel looks at lockdown impact on mental health. So you have a panel that is in regards to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs. So as I was in the previous classes also, I did discuss about various standing committees with their reports, and I also spoke about this standing committee, how many standing committees, when they have actually formed, and from 17 to 24 it has extended, when it has extended, all that static part you please go ahead for the prelims point of view, and for dynamic part all the parliamentary standing committees on labor or in regards to the now home affairs or external affairs we have discussed. So please focus all that what they are actually recommending. So all the parliamentary standing committees, they recommend to their particular or respective ministries and they forward it to the parliament. And here the parliamentary standing committee is talking about, or the keyword what we look at is parliamentary standing committee on home affairs and the lockdown impact, national lockdown impact on mental health. This is again very important for prelims as well as mains examinations. So they have focused on the impact of mental health on whom? On the citizens. So they have parliamentary standing committee has come up with a recommendation that the kind of impact of mental health on the citizens because of the national lockdown. And because of the national lockdown, what is that we have seen is that online classes. Because of the national lockdown in regards to the education, we would discuss about education. So because of the national lockdown, and because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, there is a continuous demand for the online classes to be taken up, because we should make sure that this year would not be an year wherein it would be a zero year without any education. And because of the online classes, what the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs have discussed is that there is a continuous exposure. Whenever there is a continuous exposure to the computers or phone screens, there is an impact on eyesight. So they are talking about the health. So when we are talking of the health, especially on the eyesight, so they definitely, when there is continuous exposure to the computer or phone screens, that is in regards to the zero academic year, yes, in regards to the phone screens, that is the smartphones, there would be an impact on the eyesight. And the Parliamentary Standing Committee has asked the chairman of the Indian Council of Medical Research, that is ICMR, to consider developing a protocol. So the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs is asking or considering the ICMR to come up with the new protocol, because this is now the new normal. So it is a new normal. What is new normal? Online classes during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, but it will impact the eyesight of an citizens or the students. So it wanted the ICMR to come up with the new protocols or the guidelines, to come up with the ICMR with the guidelines. And not only in regards to the students, but in regards to the old citizens. So definitely the citizens, old citizens or senior citizens, as they cannot move out of the houses, so definitely they will have the psychological issues. So they will experience the psychological issues because they are forced indoors. They are forced to be indoors because of the spread of the COVID-19, or to not to be infected by the SARS-CoV-2 or SARS-CoV-2 virus. So on to the citizens' mental health, especially focusing on the online classes, that is the students, and also to the older peoples. And the Parliamentary Standing Committee has how many members? 31 members. So it is in regards to the, we discuss in regards to the students, they are focused, and in regards to the old citizens or senior citizens and then also they have discussed in regards to the digital divide. That means the infrastructure digitally, how India is equipped and it is ready for the online classes across India is the difficulty or is the biggest challenge. So the digital divide is also been recommended by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs. And what it says is India is not economically well off, or it is not well off that in regards to the digital infrastructure is across the entire rural and then rural and urban India. Not only that, India is not digitally connected, or digital infrastructure is at a challenge, but even families in India are not economically well off to get digitally connected for the online classes. And some families, even in urban areas, they do not have their own gadgets, that is the mobile phones, the smartphones in that. And in rural and semi-urban areas, so you have urban areas, we are talking about rural areas and semi-urban areas. So the digital divide or the challenge to the digital infrastructure in India is in regards to the urban areas, rural areas and semi-urban. And in regards to urban areas, yes, we discussed rural areas, semi-urban areas, there is still a network, that is network issues. Why we are talking about it? Because digital infrastructure is not still completely developed. It is not completely developed across the length and breadth of India, across the urban, rural and semi-rural area. And not only that, they have also discussed about interoperability of ration cards. So first one, they have discussed about students, senior citizens, digital divide, and the interoperability of ration card. That what do you mean by? That means one nation, one ration card scheme. That means entire one card will be applicable to the individual citizen wherever he moves, or across the state, across the country, across various states across the country. He can use the card and then he can avail the food or the commodities in the fair price shops, in the ration shops. That is for the urban poor, migrant workers, and also they have been discussed in regards to the loans for small businessmen. So this is what the discussions were on to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs. So students, all citizens, senior citizens, digital divide, interoperability of ration cards, and loans for small businessmen. So these were discussed. Why I am saying all this is because this is a method, or this is strategy you need to understand about knowing about what was the recommendation given by various parliamentary standing committees, so that you will have the entire knowledge of the ministry. Because I have said it in the past, you need to know the number of ministries and the departments and their roles, objectives, vision or mission. So when you are able to know the role, objective, vision or mission, and the various schemes which have been taken a part of the vision and mission and objective by the various ministries and department, I would very clearly and with great determination, I would say that you would clear prelims very comfortably. Why? Because when you are talking about the schemes, when you are aware of the ministries and departments, the questions pertaining to the schemes, you will all get maximum right. Your answers would be correct. So this is the logic why I am focusing on the departments or the parliamentary standing committees. I have focused in regards to the Department of Personnel and Training. So that is a department. You need to know the ministries and the departments. And there is another news which talks about Hezbollah open to new Lebanon pact proposal. So did we discuss about this? Yes, we did discuss about this last week, because I said that Israel has bombed or airstrikes on Hezbollah camps. So Hezbollah is a Shia, Iran-backed Shia group. Iran-backed, please do understand, Iran-backed Shia group. Where? Which country? In Lebanon. In Lebanon. So Israel is Hezbollah, we did discuss. Fine. So now we will also discuss about the Hezbollah chief. Who is the Hezbollah chief? The chief of Hezbollah is Hassan Nasrallah. Hassan Nasrallah. So the chief of Hassan Nasrallah has said that he will go ahead with backing, or which is open. Hassan Nasrallah is open for what? Open for what? Open for French proposal. Please do understand, this is very important for GS paper 2 for mains point of view in regards to the IR. This we will focus IR dynamic part, because this is a French proposal for what? For new political pact. In which country? In Lebanon. Please do understand. So you might get a doubt why French is coming, why French has the role in Lebanon. Why does the French has the role, or what is the role of France in Lebanon? Can anyone say why the French is coming with the proposal in regards to the new political pact? New political pact in Lebanon. And when the France or French is coming with the new political pact proposal for Lebanon, here what is the news is that we are focusing is the Hezbollah is open. Hassan Nasrallah, that is Hezbollah, the Shia group or Shia movement which is backed by Iran, is open for the French proposal of the new political pact. Why? Anyone please, anyone who knows please keen why France has come up? And not only French, we have the Western leaders. That means countries from Europe have joined to call from Lebanese at home, abroad, deep-rooted political change. So they wanted that political change. They wanted political change in Lebanon. They wanted political change in Lebanon after the Beirut blast. We have seen the port city, ammonium nitrate has been blasted, and we have seen that almost 180 people were killed in the Beirut port city because of the ammonium nitrate. Okay, Madhu says Mediterranean Sea natural gas. Okay, fine. Okay, French is involved because of the Mediterranean Sea natural gas. Okay, fine. And what the Hassan Nasrallah, that is the Hezbollah chief, is talking about is that his movement, that is Iran-backed Shia movement, which is very powerful, is cooperative in the formation of government capable of spearheading reforms. So, as I said, the French proposal is for what? Reforms. That is for what? New political pact or new political reforms. The France is coming up, and then they wanted with reforms and reconstruction. Please do understand here another keyword: reforms and reconstruction. I am saying here France and the Western, especially France wanted a proposal, has come up with a proposal in regards to the new political pact, which could be in for Lebanon. Why? Because they wanted political consultation to be taken up in Lebanon with the Lebanon government, and then in that political consultation, the Hezbollah chief is saying that we are open for the French proposal, and we would be cooperative for the formation of the government, which will be capable of spearheading reforms and reconstruction. Again, I ask the question, why French is having that kind of anxiety or come up with the proposal? Because Lebanon, the French colony, was a French colony. That is why we have seen Emmanuel Macron, French premier, has visited Beirut immediately after the attack which killed 180 people. Fine. And now it will be second visit to Beirut, to Lebanon. Why? The main reason is it's a French colony, as India is. Okay, good job says in January 1944, France agreed to transfer powers to the Lebanese government, thus granting the territory independence. Absolutely, very well said. Good job. Very well said. So Lebanon was a French colony, as India was a British colony. So that is why I said, in regards to the IR point of view, international relations point of view, that is GS paper 2 mains, in regards to the mains examination, and I am saying again in regards to the dynamic. See, here it is dynamic. Why dynamic? Because Beirut port, the blast explosion which took place, that is the dynamic part. But what is the static part? Because of this French colony. So there could be a question on the static part, as good job has said, when it has transferred the powers, which year, and how it shaped. And now, even after almost close to 70 plus years, even 75 plus years, Lebanon is still under, what do you say, political instability, and they wanted to come up with the new political map. Who? France. So that is what. So good job. Can I know your name? Very well said. Good job. Can I know your name? Can I know your name? So this is how you need to focus, and there is a question for you all from mains point of view. So recent jurisprudence. What do you mean by jurisprudence? Legally, or recent Supreme Court judgment is veering. What do you mean by veering? Veering means it's a swing or change. It's swing or change. What? Veering what? Veering towards the view that creamy layer concept should be applied to SC/ST candidates too. The question is, recent jurisprudence or the legal system or the Supreme Court judgment or the verdict is swinging or changing towards the view that the creamy layer concept should be applicable to SC/ST candidates also. Did you get the point? So why I have taken this? Because I have spoken about the Supreme Court verdict, which has said that the states have power. I have explained this. Analytical point also I have explained everything. States have power in regards to the subclassifying the SCs and STs caste. I have said this point. So based on this, a question for the mains examination. Recent jurisprudence or recent Supreme Court judgment, that is 2020. And I have also said earlier judgment also. Please do focus that. Veering swing changes towards the view that creamy layer concept should be applied to SC/ST candidates. So what is the question here? Do comment in it. So do you support the creamy layer? Do you support the creamy layer in SC/ST category in regards to the reservation? So we discussed in regards to this reservation. Supreme Court has given a statement. Okay, good job, Janardhan. Very good job. A warm welcome to you, Janardhan, to AKS IAS Academy Daily News channel. And one thing what I would wish to say is, I would say with very great determination, that whatever I take up in the daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy, morning 7:30 AM, in the following day or days, that is in the next day or the next 2 or 3 days, that news item which we have analyzed or discussed in the day news analysis would be part of editorial, and articles. You can take it for granted. With great determination I am saying. So why I am saying so is, you are definitely in a safe hands in regards to the preparation. You are on the safe hands in regards to preparation for prelims and mains in regards to the DNA or daily news analysis by AKS IAS Academy. I can very with great determination I can say, because whatever we discuss, you can check it. It will be certainly in the following day or days. You will have that particular news what we have analyzed or discussed in the editorial or in the articles in the open page, for sure. So for that I am saying, you can definitely have the entire confidence, or you can rely on the AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, by Sandeep Bhushan. So we are in the right track of what UPSC is demanding. Okay, fine. So just to recapitulate, so we have discussed about this in regards to again Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme, fine. And then this is in regards to the NRC we discussed, and then also we have discussed in regards to Foreigners Tribunals Order 1964, and then Foreigners Tribunals Act 1946 for prelims and mains point of view. And then this is very important because we have discussed about compulsory retirement, premature retirement, and here we are discussed in regards to Department of Personnel and Training, and also in regards to the CCA. Rules, and in regards to in regards to Parliamentary Standing Committee, we have discussed, which would be very important for prelims point of view. And then this again in regards to IR point of view, current affairs, IR point of view, current affairs, and also for the mains point of view. So please do get into the mode of this kind of macro and micro level strategy of preparation. And I hope this session was the daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, was informative and knowledgeable session for both prelims and mains examination, as well as for the interview questions also. So I would say a very big thank you and a good luck to you all, and wishing you all a good luck in the world. And good job. Janardhan says, sir, can you tell about essay writing skills? Yes, definitely. I would one day I would take up one session in regards to the essay writing skills. I would definitely. I would. And then do like the video, share the video, and subscribe the video, which I was talking about even in the previous classes, that is in regards to the AKS IAS English channel. Please do subscribe in regards to the AKS IAS English channel, because as I said, we will gradually shift from whichever the YouTube channel you are watching now in regards to the daily news analysis of AKS IAS Academy. It will be gradually shifted to AKS IAS English channel. Thereby, please do subscribe. Please do subscribe AKS IAS English channel, wherein you will find my classes even in this channel, even in this AKS IAS English channel, which is a recorded one. So rather than recorded one, we will have the live in the AKS IAS English channel. So do subscribe, and then also please do visit in regards to the AKS IAS website, and also subscribe the Telegram link in regards to the AKS IAS Academy. And I would again see you tomorrow in regards to the daily news analysis, that is at 7:30 AM tomorrow. And then I would say or reiterate, do have consistency in regards to your preparation, and then stick to your schedule, and then please take care of your physical health and mental health. And I hope definitely my session was informative, knowledgeable one, both for prelims and mains. And I would say it with great determination, as I said, that whatever we discuss in the daily news analysis, the following day or the next further day, 1 or 2 days, you will certainly have that particular news in the editorials, Hindu editorials and articles, you will have it. So you can rely on AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, which is taken up by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala. And a very big thank you, and then good luck to you all. And then I would see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.